Okay, this is the tick. Fuck it. I'm back to my brother's room this night again because I just felt that I'm vibing. I really love the vibe. Um, yeah. So this video's topic is about basically me talking about my experience with gender dysphoria and non-binary over the years, but everything we just I don't know will be in no particular order. I guess it's in some sense to help me to sort of help clear my mind or quote unquote straighten my mind because in a week of time I will be having this conversation with my father, which I am so nervous, but also I sort of have that feeling that even though if he doesn't like you know understand or with necessary support, in my experience, that he would listen or attempt to, let's say, maybe be curious. And so I guess this video is just for me to process these things openly. I don't know, maybe I will send this video before that day. If it somehow uh, able to make him better understand, because it's just kind of complicated and I don't know some of the words how they could be better phrased without being pre-recorded. Um, so yeah, uh, okay. So I'm 21 years old now, and it has been actually more than a year since I come out to myself as someone who is like non-binary or trans, non-binary or trans inside. It was exactly like last year around this time period or so, like around April and May. It's also the time where I sort of start growing my hair out and just trying to appear a bit more androgynous or try out different outfit. Back then and now, I still don't have a good sense of fashion at all because um, there's not much space or there's not much reference that could like figure these things out because all of these years, all these clothes have been bought from my mother and I didn't really put in the effort in really exploring the kind of outfit that I want or that would make me feel comfortable. And it was a very big leap forward towards dealing with my gender dysphoria last year because it's just so funny. Just yesterday when I was looking back some of the older videos of me pre-open to myself, I have a very different I have a very different speaking profile. My pitch and my intonations and my mannerisms is way way different. Back then, it's not that I don't have, you know, a specific style of speaking. It it just sounds monotonous, and I just sounds like very dead in the inside. like, not only that I sound like a very typical straight guy's kind of voice, but I have that kind of like that in inside, like I'm fucking done with life, this kind of voice. I'm not gonna put it in this video, but maybe in the future, if I were to make a video comparing my quote unquote old voice and my new voice, maybe. But ever since I do that, I opened it like last year, or maybe earlier actually, my voice just start changing. I did watch some video, but I didn't like intentionally take on some, you know, like voice training lessons or video exercise. I didn't do any of the thing at all. What I've done is I just listened to different kind of voices, and I somehow just found this kind of register and this pitch, which I found it to be quite fitting to how I like to talk with people. So it's kind of more of like a androgynous kind of voice that I just somehow it just came out of nowhere once I opened up myself, or came out of the closet to myself. So which is kind of funny. I mean, if there is someone really, like, if I have someone who I know very well, and maybe they knew me very well, they probably would recognize the change. But the fact is that I don't really have someone who I consider being very close in these few years. So yeah, but I mean, some of the friends, they did notice how my my clothings and my hairstyle, or like my hair lengths, did change a lot. My relatives did told me that I was being rather artistic. It's like, oh, that Oscar, like that is my original name. I was like, oh, but he looks like quite artistic. What's up with him? It's like you have that kind of like curious and also sort of interrogative kind of question that is, I mean, typical for, you know, the kind of conversation to have in relatives, or maybe especially in Asia kind of household, right? But as usual, I just do what I have to do. I talk with them, as usual, talk about life, what I have been through, as usual. And yeah, so last year, this time, I was applying for my university at the same time, and that is actually where I sort of make the decision that I would like to actually change the way how I present publicly. So I like suddenly I grew up my hair. At first, my mom specifically was quite against that, but at the end I sort of prevailed. I actually grew until like this kind of length at one point after my school begins. So yeah, and so I begin school, and there's one funny moment in one of the university interviews, which is kind of funny. Basically, I was having an interview. I had my long hair, I had my glasses on, and I introduced myself. It was a group interview. The funny thing is, like, I speak in kind of a register like this, and the funny thing is that also the funny part is that I just cannot talk how I used to talk before. I can't go as slow as I can't go as like before. Like, it just sounds unnatural to me. I can't do that physically for some reason. But anyway, so during that interview, I gotten sort of misgender a couple of times, because maybe just the way how I speak and how I present it in Zoom is like easy to convince, right? Because it can't. It's like a 2D thing. You can't see other kind of features that could be clocked as a male, right? Um, but anyway, it just kind of give me an idea. Like, I haven't started HRT yet, but you know, there are a few things that really would give idea of how people would perceive you, right? So one of the, like, I think the most apparent thing, I didn't even do any like makeups or any kind of things that is like traditionally feminine things. The only thing that changed is like hair length, and somehow my voice changes. And maybe it's just like people think I'm like a fucking gay boy, stuff like that. So yeah, it was kind of a funny experience. It's kind of, you know, validating in a very twisted way. But anyway, I still passed the interview very well, and I got into university. And by that time, my auntie was kind of warning me, you know, when you enter university, you have to cut your hair off because people find you weird. I was like, yeah, of course, but she was a Catholic. I won't be surprised if she knew that something is off, because my clothing style did change quite a lot. But I mean, just more androgynous. I didn't like wear intentionally like feminine kind of clothing. It's just like maybe the color selections is much typically more androgynous, not masculine, something like that. Yeah, just like the color scheme is different. That's all, nothing else. But I still won't be surprised if she already sort of find out something is quote unquote off about me. I mean, she have seen me grown from a very young toddler to who I am, 20 years old, an adult, a young adult. So, I mean, she could certainly see the differences, right? So, I mean, if she really found out, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. So, yeah, and I got into the orientation days, and I was looking around some society groups. Of course, there were like some strange glance between people, because the university that I am in is predominantly females, because it was a educational university. So like 8 out of 10 people are females and 2 are males. And a lot of the clubs and societies, all of them are run by women. And I was walking around the campus and during the orientation days, looking around, maybe seeing which camp to join and have some conversation. Of course, have some weird glances, because I mean, I wasn't wearing traditionally masculine kind of clothing, just androgynous. Yeah, and I got rejected for one of the orientation camps. But I don't really care. Like, I did pay for that, but they said, oh, it was full, so yeah, it was full, I guess. I mean, they have to make their selections, right? And when the school begins, actually, there's not many courses that requires us to like introduce ourselves. Instead, there's one course that the lecturer want every single one of us in the class to self-introduce, which is, I think, I don't know, is it just the way how she does things, but that really allowed people to break the ice. So I kind of introduced myself. Yeah, I have 2 gap years and blah blah blah, blah, some misinformations, what I've done in the gap year, and also include the information that I was non-binary. And one of the friend that now I'm in close contact with, like, she knew that, and she also found it so fucking cringe. But do I regret it? No. Would I do that? probably not a good idea, but I mean, I still won't regret it that I do that, because why not? I mean, life is short, and if you don't make any decisions to prove yourself of who you are, then when would you do that? Yeah. And the funny thing is that that friend of mine, or actually my partner, she and also few of a friend that she knew back then were like talking about me, about that guy, which is me. So it's kind of weird. Yeah, and they at one point checked the name list and to see my gender, and they were like quote unquote shocked to find out that actually it's right an M instead of W. And in a lot of conversation between my partner and I was like, back then you kind of could fool a few of us, so consider that you have progressed it. Like, I don't know, probably she just want to be like supportive, or um, be an ally. I'm not sure, but it's just a very funny interaction, let's say. Something that I completely do not know that they exist. But still, is it a good idea? Not sure. But yeah, actually, the first semester went quite well. I've done quite well on my own individual assignments and also my group projects. I made some amazing group mates, and also met actually one transgender man too. I mean, we didn't really talk that much, but we did talk some topic related to that. Some of the times when we were mingling. Yeah, but all these things actually went quite well. Like my dysphoria was here and there a lot of times that I was like trying to remain this sort of low maintenance and not to care too much on my own body dysphoria as part of me, because I have different kind of body dysphoria. And yeah, so this is like, honestly, it was kind of great, because personally I could be a very sociable person, even though if I acknowledge that my identity could be quite foreign to people around me. I still try to be as bold, as sociable to people that I feel safe around. And honestly, the first semester, there were actually close to none negative experience that is related to my own identity. And also, in the second semester, I also did sort of talked about that privately to some of the lecturers about my own identity things, because in some of the course we did talked about something that is very related to the social culture thing, and we will talk about the the social cultural implication of male and females in marriage, for example. And sometimes other teachers would like to do some interviews to like students during classes and just to ask for our own opinions. And some days they would just ask me, but of course I'll be willing to answer the questions, but I did email them to talk about the situation and just to tell them the reason why I will have this reaction. And a few of them, they really have very good actually they felt thankful and actually thanks me for telling them about the situation, and was very understanding of that, and I was so glad. And and one of them, I did told them about me being like non-binary, but I mean, I won't assume and I won't expect them to like understand or to accept, but they just acknowledge that. And like they responded with, yeah, I have also a few people who are like transgender women, but I mean, fair, because I wouldn't expect them to like understand, and I didn't expect them to do that too. But their acknowledgement was very very well respected. It's like adults talking, and I'm so glad that it could be like that. And uh, and I guess this is actually where the part when things become a bit more difficult. So the story begins like this. So I just talk about the partner that I've mentioned. I won't. Yeah. So she was a very fascinating person. She's a very phenomenal and is very strong, independent. Really, it's just a very amazing person. Very intelligent, very knowledgeable, very empathetic. Uh, it's yeah. So we first met in November during the one of the lectures lessons, and we start talking about politics, bullshits. Uh, like because we are, I mean, we are based in Hong Kong, but we also would like discuss a lot of like political matters that is more global or more like related to like the Western Hemisphere kind of topics, and we will like just talk shit about life, and also we'll basically exchange ideas, friends. Oops, sorry. We'll exchange ideas, and also we'll talk about all this political bullshit, religion things, and also like lecture things. Yeah, all these things, and at one point we also talked about the gender topic thing. Um, she acknowledged my like gender non-binary thing and still approached me, and she was one of the first person that, at least from my impression, to be quite be curious and also acknowledge. I wouldn't say she necessarily like support my identity at the moment of speaking, but at least like she's like curious and want to know more about the gender dysphoria part of mine. And it was amazing. We had different kind of conversations. We agree on topics and also disagree on certain topics. And for the gender thing, we also have a lot of disagreement, but also agreements, certain ones. But then in February, we just we just grew a bit closer and a bit more intimate. And this is actually where the, a lot of like issue related to my own personal problems and also my family. Just in general, the vulnerable part of me becoming more apparent, right? I became so vulnerable and so weak. I've never felt so naked in front of someone. To her, on hindsight, I think it's not a very good idea to reveal a lot of details at that time. It's not that I don't trust her. It's just like I have no idea what kind of vulnerable position I'm putting myself into. Again, it's not like that I don't trust her. It's just like try and error. We get to know about each other more and more, right? Because you still cannot deny the fact when you are putting the vulnerable part of you outside. uh, it's a dangerous thing to do, because trust is something that is so, it's just like so easy to build but also very easy to break. But then after years of battling my dysphoria, suppressing it, and basically living my life as a normal heteronormative male, whatever that is, cisgender male, last year I just told me, I just can't stand it. I just don't want to live that. I just want to be more. And just recently I was able to tell myself, actually, you know what, I mean, I don't know if I want to be a gay boy, but I certainly don't want to be like a quote unquote straight male, or the person that I am. It just doesn't feel right. I want to be gay, I want to be more open, I want to be more feminine, I want to be more, I don't know, like, I want to explore different kind of expression. I really want to try out different things that might be traditionally more feminine, or be perceived as feminine by people. I don't know why. But it just as time goes by, the more year it passes, I just felt, damn, I am solidifying myself to becoming someone that I don't want to, and that kind of fear, it's just so suffocating to me. I just started to feel more, disconnected to my body, and I just don't felt being in my body anymore. And in all these years, I also would try my best to maintain my sense of self through different hobbies or different kind of things that I would do. But on a personal, like, fashion, health, skin, or self-care, everything, all these things is just threw out of the window. I'm a very, very low maintenance person in a negative sense. Like, sometimes I just don't care about my own hygiene or health at all. Because it's just like that, I still haven't learned how to love my own body yet, I guess. And it gets worse when each day I just become more masculinized. The features, my body hair, all these things. It's just very annoying. It's not even annoying. It's like sometimes it's just so stressful. I don't know how to really say that, but yeah. At the moment when I'm speaking this, like, I'm feeling my throat is like congesting. And it just, all these years I start to have that thought that I can't really see, like, the future beyond the point if I were to leave like this. I mean, like, the image, especially now when I was like watching some of the older photos of mine, I was like, oh my god, I have to live as this guy. And as time goes by, I just always have that thought that I just wouldn't live long enough to, I don't know, like, I just really just have that thought is that I won't live long enough. Later, which I found out, this kind of thought is not a very good sign. But when I see, like, the possibility of being queer or being more gender non-conforming or expressive or feminine, kind of quote unquote feminine, I somehow just found, yeah, I would like to try it before and make that fucking conclusion that maybe it is like not worth leaving after all, but instead maybe it's like worth leaving after all. Uh, and these few months when I was getting like when we were like when my partner and I were like dating and not dating kind of situation, my nervous system was keep on flaring up and start to like have that intense distress, and also there's dysphoria part, and also reminds me, oh my god, this is the thing that I have to deal with, but I intentionally not to deal with it and focus on things that I can change. Like if I could, I kind of wish that I could just start HRT, but I just can't. I don't have the financial capability of doing that, so I just do what I can be doing it. Just make the changes that I can. And now, when I spend time with her, I think it's probably it also talks about um, the strategy of communication. Like I think we are rushing up too much in some sense. Like we are rushing in a lot, and we are like both the chronic worries for the future. And a lot of the conversation we had also goes back to the gender thing of mine, and I feel very very shitty and also shameful. It's like it seems like I became the person that might potentially ruin one's life just because of my identity. But honestly, it is a concern. But I would like to also mention that we are certainly moving on for too fast, and it's not allowing things to, sink in and be discussed in a more rational manner. But yeah. So during that period of time, it just made me be very dysphoric and my body, and oh god, it just felt so fucking annoying to be reminded that I want to start HRT and also I would like to start transitioning more openly, but also I cannot, because it's not I cannot, it's just like it would imply that I have to get over different obstacles. And the thing is, like, I just wasn't sure if I was in an environment that allows that to happen. It just felt so overwhelming. And the other thing also I realized that how the different implication, like if I start transitioning to, let's say, if I were to solidify, maybe be a trans woman, for example, like what kind of implication does it mean? Like, what kind of changes? Like all these things, it was so overwhelming, and the thought of knowing that I don't know where to start, and also knowing that I have to like face different kind of challenges, and also face some things that is within me, my inner own mental health thing. It was so overwhelming. And also within this film, there's other kind of drama, familial dramas between my partner and I. And it was so fucking overwhelming. In this few weeks of time, I've never become more suicidal ever before. At one point, I got into the to the A&E. I went to the emergency. I went to the emergency. To the ER. I was kind of close to get into a psych ward. Because I was literally feeling that my mind was like falling apart. Like I have to handle all these things. And it felt so lonely at the same time because I don't really have people to talk about these challenges, and I just have to deal with them myself. Not even to my partner, because she has her own life, she has her own challenge, and she has to also recover from her own mental health too. I felt so suffocated. Honestly, I already began presenting myself as an androgynous, quote unquote, queer person last year. Kind of, I'm more like a gay person. The kind of the fear that I have now is next week. My dad is kind of very patient person, I believe. When I went to the ER last few weeks because of that suicide ideation, and that kind of that acute mental health crisis state. He wants to know if it's necessary to actually go for private options to find psychologists, or but we both agree that maybe it would be better for us to talk about it, from parents to child. We want to have that conversation. He did have that slight knowledge of what about the gender thing couple of 2 years ago, I think, but that was it. She didn't ask any more than that. And now I'm so nervous of having to tell him about the truth of what I've been living in uni now, about the non-binary thing. I don't expect him to understand at all. Maybe I would expect him to ask a few more questions and be curious. I guess I think he would be interested. A couple of weeks ago, he and my mom went to a conference and actually met some people who are gender non-conforming. Maybe they presume are queer or trans, and they were my mom was they're actually not as bad as how people would see them, but I wouldn't hope that it would be my children, something like that. He did say that twice actually, and it kind of triggered me a lot because it's not I felt offended. I just felt not accepted or potentially hated. But maybe it's just my thought, because deep inside, I am still their children, right? So I would still, in some sense, would at least hope some kind of love from them, but I don't know. But my dad, during the last conversation we had about that 2 years ago, he did talk about we did met some trans individual many years ago, and she was nice, yeah. But she didn't really address much more about my own situation. We talked and yeah. So at the moment, what I sort of would expect in that conversation is probably that I would tell them about what happened between my aunt, sister, and mom, about that thing that happened, and also the suicide ideation thing, and also telling him more about the the stress that have been accumulating this couple of months related to my partner, to my life, gender dysphoria, and to my now non-binary presenting identity to the to my school. I guess, yeah. Telling just what I've been experiencing so far. I won't expect anyone to support me anymore. I just want maybe at least for him to at least listen to what I have been dealing with. I can confidently say that he at least probably he won't say that I'm somehow insane or crazy or like confused, just like how my mom would say or my auntie would say. I mean, we are still living in a very conservative society after all. Yeah, but yeah, so as long we remain respectful, and I would be glad, honestly. Yeah, I would tell them that. Yeah, again, tell them about what I've been living this year as non-binary, my partner, me living, me wanting to experience more different kind of expression, maybe mixing masculine and feminine expressions, because it just felt a bit more comfortable, and not as distressing as before, and don't feel like I'm living in like a shell. I probably I won't tell them that I want to start HRT. Maybe I would. Maybe I would ask him, like, I would say maybe I did consider wanting to like begin HRT in the future, but not now, because simply I just don't have the financial capability of doing that, and I did have that plan to transition socially. And maybe I would ask him about maybe if it would be better for me to see a gender therapist, and also maybe would at one point talked about whether I should on tell my mom or not. Instead, I think I would just make my own decision. My sort of a my sort of a guess is like he probably wouldn't like not support me or anything like that. It's just like maybe he would just he would tell me, oh, maybe you can try out different things first, I guess. But I guess he will also be very understanding why I wouldn't want to talk to my mom at the same time too. Yeah, I think I also would tell him about, actually I've told them to my siblings too, to my, also to my, to Winnie. I mean, someone that I knew. Yeah, I'll tell them that. I will continue like seeing counselor and to talk about that. Um, I don't know. Maybe I would just at one point just ask him about. I mean, would she love me if I try out different expressions, a different kind of thing? We'll see. It's very scary. You know, in the future, like if we really did able to talk about starting HRT without my mom getting in the hand of it, I wouldn't expect that many things would change because me and my siblings and my family, we were already like roommates, right? But even though, again, but if he doesn't support me, then I would also understand. Then I would try to see what I can do. Just make the best of the resources that I have. I guess that concluded.
Hello, Oscar, baby.